Kelsey Fitzsimmons had a court hearing today. She wasn't actually in court. She's being held at the Women's Correctional Facility in Chicopee, Mass. And her attorney wasn't in court, either Martha Coakley or Attorney Bradel. There was some confusion at the beginning of the hearing. Clearly, there was miscommunication about whether the case was supposed to be heard in person, whether it was going to be on Zoom, whether it was going to be a call. Sometimes in Massachusetts, you just do a call for a status conference, pretrial conferences, things like that. Now, when we finally figured out what was going on, there was a new judge on the bench. His name is Tom Dreschler. He is a former Superior Court judge. He was previously in private practice. Before that, he was appointed by Deval Patrick and was a prosecutor early on. He is retired, but he is on what we call like callback duty. So Superior Court judges often, they have a mandatory retirement age of 70 in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Remember, judges in Massachusetts are appointed by the governor. And so they go through a whole entire process. We don't have elected judges here. So when the case got called, it didn't get called right away. Many people were wondering why. We have what's called the call of the list, which is going to be my Sunday evening news show. That's the name. And what the call of the list means is that, like, if you have a 9 o'clock call, there might be 15, 20 other cases that you have on. So you might be the first call of the list. You might be at the bottom of the call list. And if you miss the first, you got to wait for the whole call of the list to go through again. Second call. So they go through the call of the list. They get to the case. Judge Dreschler was clearly aggravated that the phone lines were down because so many people were trying to get on. He was mad at Attorney Bradel because Bradel wasn't there in person, and Bradel was like, well, I got a notice from the clerks, which often they do. They just say, oh, call into this number at so-and-so extension here. And so basically, they sort of, everything stopped and they reset. When they came back on, Bradel was like, I'm sorry, Your Honor, this is normal for an attorney to do. Like, I don't want you to think that I was purposely not there. And he's like, oh, no. So everybody had kind of like cooled off a little bit. Basically, the judge was like, listen, the case has to be tried. It's a simple case. It's an assault with a dangerous weapon. She's in custody on a 58A. You're entitled, when you're in custody in Massachusetts, you're entitled to a court date every 30 days. Theoretically, on 58A cases, they go to trial very quickly because the discovery gets turned over much faster, usually by the time of the 58A hearing, which is in the first, usually a couple of days or a week. So the judge is like, when do you want a trial? You want a trial like in the next 2 weeks? Like, let's go. And Bradel was having a hammer, and the DA is like, I don't know if he's going to file for an expert, a maternal health, things like that. So basically they kicked it out. They'll send a Zoom for Kelsey Fitzsimmons to appear on the next date. They didn't deal with bail. They didn't readdress anything. And that's basically it. So on November 25th, they're going to pick a trial date. They looked at, most likely it would be in January, February sometime. However, if they actually are going to be hiring experts and more Rule 17s filings and whatnot, it could be pushed farther. But she's in custody. So usually when you have a client in custody, you try to get them to trial as soon as possible because, they want to get out. So that's it. Stay tuned. I forgot one more thing. So in terms of bail, remember, she had her bail revoked by the judge, McCarthy Neiman, last month because she couldn't comply with the conditions of release. She had previously been held on a 58A. That's a finder of dangerousness, okay? And then she was released. She was still found to be a danger, but that there were conditions that could reasonably assure the safety of the community, one of them being the breath test. The defense team has filed what we called a 211.3, Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 211, Section 3. 211.3 is an appeal of a district court decision that goes right up to a single justice of the SJC. So they're asking the SJC to reevaluate the bail and basically have a new bail hearing. I think that's unlikely to be granted because judges have wide discretion to set bail as long as they take into consideration the Brangen factors and the arguments of the case and everything that they have before them. So I think that's probably unlikely to be successful. However, you never know, and they might as well try because they got her out and then they got her back in. So That now it's really it. Have a good day. It's also beautiful out. So if you're not outside, it's 80 degrees. I have 10 minutes until my kids get off the bus. Hence why I'm sitting in my car. And I think it might be the last day of this like beautiful New England Indian summer. So enjoy.